I believe that a lot of people that come to the United States and decided that they're not going back to Jamaica for some things that maybe happened 20, 30 years ago, now understanding that things have changed. Over the years, I found myself wondering, like, if I had stayed, would it have been better instead of coming back to the United States? I have no regrets. Remember that this man loves me enough to follow me wherever I go, but I don't want to lead us down destruction path, you know? And we're older now. We're not young anymore in our 20s, like I was telling you guys when we went to Jamaica, whatever. Remember being there and actually feeling like I was in heaven at times. That's the truth. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Julie. I hope all is well with everyone. And today, I'm pretty much going to talk to you guys about when I have this, more like, it's been years ago I did this. It was in early 2000s. And I packed all my stuff and decided enough was enough. And I moved back to Jamaica. Lived there for approximately around 3 years. And I'm going to tell you all of the reason why I went. Well, I can't tell you all the reason why I went, but most of the reason why I went. I moved back to Jamaica. And some of the reason why I moved back to the States. At the time, I was going through a phase where I felt like I was actually going crazy, which I can't explain. I couldn't say homesickness because, to be honest, the United States been my home for the past almost 40 years, going on 40 years, to be honest with you guys. But I've always been back to Jamaica on my own. Once I could travel, I'll go back as often as possible. And I fell in love with my country all over. Again, I love Jamaica from when I was a child. I just never had the chance to grow up there, but more like grow up there. Let me make sure I'm on the camera. I think I am, and I hope my face is in it so I don't have to do this again. And to be honest with you guys, it was a lot of reasons why I moved to Jamaica. I was here as a young woman. Always wanted to have something in Jamaica. Always wanted to have a business, do things, and I said I was going to try, and I did it. And I'm going to go through a list of things that I tried in Jamaica. First, I could get that out of here, so when I start talking, you guys can't get all oblivious. And this is a fact, and this is the truth. I've opened a clothing business in Jamaica. I've opened a bar. I have opened a wholesale car wash. I've tried taxi service. We did the whole round robin, parties, dance. I did the whole shebang. I did all of that. Did I enjoy myself? Yes. Do I have any regrets? No. Business in Jamaica is easy to open. It's easy to make money if you know how to make money, and that was a fact. But it wasn't just the money aspect of it was my problem with Jamaica. It was more like, after a few years, I found myself getting bored. All right, so let me take you back now. When I first moved to Jamaica, I did everything that I wanted, you know, as far as partying, going to the beaches, doing business. Yes, my business was registered. I've learned to do all of that, which is easy. I did the whole, I always had a vehicle to get around. I bought a car, ship cars, buy cars, sell cars, buy cars, sell cars. That I forgot to say that part. At my own place to stay. Never had to, well, when I first started going to Jamaica, to be fair, I used to stay with family members, and then when I realized that became too expensive, I wind up renting. Back then, it wasn't considered Airbnb, it was short-term rental, which was places you could rent for like around, say, a good 3 months, fully furnished. I used to rent those places. And then eventually, because I was buying somewhere in my early 20s, I went ahead and rented a place. And start accumulate my stuff. And that's after my first purchase, to be honest. That was my second purchase, which is my apartment. I went ahead and did a whole bunch of craziness that kind of like threw me off a bit at one point from the reality of what I went there for. And the reality was I was supposed to get away from the stress of America, the feeling, but some of it I brought with me, not realizing I did. But anyways, I found myself in Jamaica, enjoying Jamaica so much, and I realized how much I really love my country. And that's why I kept on investing and trying new things. And I'm gonna be honest with you, everything I've tried worked out. It was just never enough. And I'm gonna tell you why. Every time I did something, I always thought about how much more I could have done here, or how much more, and that part I couldn't let go. And I realized that's the immaturity in me, where I couldn't let that part go, because I always felt like I could do more if I was here faster. It wasn't about can I do it or not. I was thinking about the fastness of me earning faster. With Jamaica, you have to be patient. You have to have like them said, I move on island time. Jamaica move on island time, and that make things complicated. Now, while I've told you all my stories, that was part of my story, telling people that, hey, when I moved there, it was more, instead of doing business like I was supposed to, I was trying to still party and enjoy everything. And I had a bunch of friends, and also that was part of my biggest problem, friends. While I was doing my business, I had friends. I was also stupid to lend a lot of people money at the time. I was I wouldn't say as stupid. I was more trying to be a good friend. I was helping people with their rent. I was helping people maybe here and there, to buy food. Friends, I call them. They was having difficult times, some of them, and I will help them. Excuse me, have they ever helped me? Yes, some of them have, with certain things, like if I needed something done in my business, especially when I have my clothing store, stuff like that, little things, even though I still had to pay, which is understandable. I can't expect someone to run down here to do something for me and do it for free, so I will pay. Over the years, I found myself wondering, like, if I had stayed, would it have been better instead of coming back to the United States? I have no regrets. Honestly, I have no regrets, because those moves that I made actually made my life better. And what I mean by that is, it gave me a sense of pride about Jamaica that I needed. I always love Jamaica, but that pride part, I never could say, oh, I could say, I'm proud of Jamaica. I'm proud of Jamaica. For what I know as a kid growing up till now, I am proud. And no matter which prime minister in there, I'm proud of my country. And I will always be proud of my country. I've grown to love Jamaica as if it's a child of mine. I will defend Jamaica. Stuff like that. But anyway, back to the moral of the story is that I made a decision to keep on trying new things, and I kept on, like, every time I felt like something wasn't enough, I found myself on a different venture. Like, I had to find something else to do to get more, and I just wouldn't let go of America in my head, because that's another thing with being brainwashed. And I wouldn't say just brainwashed, it's about knowing there's more out there, and because you know it's more, you tends to go. It's almost like they said, the grass is always greener on the other side. But that wasn't really the case. It was more like I knew that I could do more, so I kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. Against my feeling like I should stay here and keep on trying, but then I look at it like I could get it faster here. And that was my biggest problem. I started businesses with my husband as well. We tried that. And my husband, the thing about my husband is, a lot of people don't know, my husband is a very humble man. My husband was fine with just being in Jamaica, or whatever. He was happy. My husband is happy wherever we're at, or whatever decision I make. He will follow me to the ends of the earth. So if I get up and I said I wanted to leave, he will come. If I get up and say now I want to leave and go to Jamaica, he will come. That's who he is. And he tried to make me happy most of the time. So right now my decisions are a little bit off the walls, because more like I'm bouncing my decisions off the walls, because I remember that this man loves me enough to follow me wherever I go, but I don't want to lead us down destruction path, you know. And we're older now, we're not young anymore in our 20s, like I was telling you guys when we went to Jamaica, whatever. So the thing is now, for me to actually get up and just bounce is very hard for me. But anyways, in Jamaica, we used to do our business and we'll go everywhere, do everything. But there are some things about Jamaica that will make you feel as if you're behind time. The thing about I didn't like about when I was doing business in Jamaica was going to the tax office, going to the Registrar General offices, anything that you had to do business, mostly, you know, you had to. Registration, insurance, anything when it comes down to paperwork, I hate it because it's a slow pace, and you dare not make a mistake or misspelling of even your name. It has to be the same thing as it was just a few things that I couldn't stand with Jamaican. Like, they will nitpick at little things, and I get it. They're trying to be detailed, but at the same time, they're not really like customer service friendly at the same time. And then they try to dictate to you like, this should be this way and that should be that way. But when they make a mistake, they don't try to apologize for it. But when you make one, they want to school you like you're a child. And I couldn't deal with that kind of environment. But that wasn't a major issue because I could deal with people like that. The banks, similar, but I really never had trouble with the bank too much, because the first thing when I get in there, I don't really smile with people to begin with. So they deal with me on a different level. I don't try to be a friend. I never try to be a friend. I know that they're working for my money and that's it. I don't really care about their attitude anyways, so I don't take it personal. But it was more like the people now was part of it. Like, I put myself in a circle where I messed up, where I was given to the point of almost felt like, when now I'm looking back at it, it felt like I was buying friendship, not realizing, because everything was fine once I was handing out. But the moment I said no, or I don't have it right now, or whatever, once I'm not putting it in their hand at that moment when they ask, it was always an issue after that with them. You see people changes like from night and day real quick, like right in front of you, or they're supposed to do something for you, which is very important, and they will sabotage you, stuff like that, little things. And I found out that, you know, Jamaica, really and truly, you can make it in Jamaica, you can live in Jamaica. Like, now I'm a grown older woman, those are the little nitpicking things as a young girl. Now as an older woman looking at myself, yes, a mature woman, put it like that, I understand now that if you want something, don't let up on it. Don't let little scenarios, don't let certain moments in life hold you back or put a fear in you of like, oh, this is going to happen. So don't try it, don't do it. And I believe that a lot of people that come to the United States get up and decided that they're not going back to Jamaica for some things that maybe happened 20, 30 years ago. Now, understanding that things have changed. Things have changed so much that some of you guys, if you've never been back in 20 years, the landscape have changed so much, which you can see now on YouTube, so maybe you kind of recognize some of the places. But visualizing on your own, you wouldn't be able to recognize it if you was to get returned to Jamaica. I remember being there and actually feeling like I was in heaven at times. That's the truth. Especially when I'm with my husband and my children. And back to the point of why I had to leave was also because of the kids at times, because sometimes it was pertaining to school, things that I had to get done for them, changing passport. Well, the thing about changing passport, I did not have a problem because I went to the passport office, renewed your passport, got it right there in Jamaica. I said DHL, or yes, gave it to me. Both that time, there was the older ones. They actually both went to private school most of their life. I tried the public school system there, but it never really worked out for them. And the teachers kept on telling me, get them out of there because they're too, too advanced. So I had to send them to private school. Um, One of them went to private school even in high school. I think it's Victor Dixon. I think that's the name of it. At the time, it was private. I don't think it's private anymore. But anyway, so those were some of the reasons of me returning to the States because of those kids. Now, those are the dilemma that I remember now, that why I can't really run around with these two little ones. And I'm thinking, like, if I do it, then I might have the same issue. And I'm not saying kids are way smarter than my other kids at the time, but these two are smart, very smart. And they both, all A students, even though one is coming out of elementary and one is going to high school, one is going to middle school, one is going to high school. And they're both on the top of their class. They're not, mediocre, put it like that. I don't brag about them, but if I have medals and awards and to show, I have too much of it. I don't come on here and broadcast them too much, but they're very smart kids. And I feel like if I was to take them back to Jamaica, just drag them right away, I'm going to be in great doo-doo, because at some point I'm going to have to bring them back here again. Now, I did figure out an alternative where I could be at home a lot of, majority of my time as well, because my husband said it's okay. So we came to a conclusion where I will be maybe taking this trip by myself, going home for a while, which probably will be hard for me because at the same time I don't want to leave my family behind. But we do have to get some things in order with the situation that's going on here in the United States. I'm not afraid. I'm a citizen. The kids are citizens, my husband, but that's not the case alone. It's just the feeling is not the same. Things are not the same. I'm not loving how America is rolling right now. It's not a good place to be. And why I say that, before it was racism, it was a lot of things going on before, but now you're feeling like, you're actually feeling like almost like jail in a sense. People show their attitude or their dirty side a little bit more often, stuff like that. But it's what's making it bad for me now is that I have to leave my kids into this. They don't really want to come either. They don't want to come right now. They love it here. They love their school. Excuse me. And like I said, they don't want to leave their dad. The fact is, my husband is not quite ready, and I don't want to rush him either, because I do want him to get his full pension and all of that stuff. And life be life, and at times you still have to be careful. I ain't gonna sit up here in front and say, oh, we don't need this, we don't need that. We have young kids. I have to be logical, I have to think logical, more like it. I want to put things away in the back of my head, like, oh, we don't need this, we don't need that, but what in case we do need it, So it's like with life, you never know what to expect or it's coming. But I don't worry about it anymore. I've grown to understand that some things I have control over and some I completely don't have control over. More like it's out of my control. It's not everything you can always fix. It's not everything you can always say, hey, and some way to control things is to let it go. You know what I mean? So I've been facing a lot of issues. But anyway, back to the story about me being in Jamaica and stuff. I love Jamaica, and there is a few things about Jamaica where when you hit Jamaica and you decide that you're living there, it's a sense of relief of being there that some people don't understand. And like I said it all the time, I don't want to be anywhere else sometimes but Jamaica, but I have to make up my mind when I'm going to go, how I'm going to do it, without affecting my family, and that's something to think about and talk about later. You guys probably see. So if you guys see me in Jamaica by myself, you know why eventually. Why I'm planning to move to Jamaica by myself for a while. It's not my ideal situation that I want for myself, but I do have to make some choices, and I do have to get things done. And being in America, you can't get anything done. Going back and forth also is an expense that I'm spending, like going for ticket, for this and that, which, to be fair, in Florida is not so expensive leaving from Florida. So I could practically leave almost every weekend and come back. So it's not so bad. But I do have to make some serious decision by now, and a few months from now, more like it. But anyway, guys, if you guys watch this video or come this far, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And thank you for watching of my jibber jabber, and I'll get to you guys soon.